Hello everyone, it's Monday the 16th of April and we were supposed to have the webinar today, but it seems that I'm only one here in this webinar room, so I'm closing this one right now, like this, and I'm making you a video. So let's open this one. Yeah. So the topic for today was SEO and channels, so search engine optimization and channels, which are the two parts that you are supposed to study and analyze during this week. So let's go on. First of all, couple of words of digital media. So I'm not concentrating on only social media, the traditional social media, but instead I'd like to talk about digital media, including all kinds of websites, discussion forums, chats, and so on. Anything that any kind of conversation that happens online, or any kind of communication happening online. So a bit of a definition for digital media: computer aided or IT aided communication. That's digital media. So it's not only social media platforms as we traditionally think of them, but it's everything that happens online. It should be open, transparent, as such. It goes for the websites as well. So anything we do there, we should be honest and open, and it should be possible for the customer to see what's happening in general. So transparent and as such as well. It should be close to the people, intimate in that sense. User generated, so companies should give their customers and their followers a possibility to create their own kind of contents, but even still it happens quite often that we see platforms where customers cannot post anything. If you post something, it goes to the messages or something like that. It's not visible for the others, and that's not the idea of digital media as such. It's easy, or it should be easy. It should be engaging. Usually it is. It's valuable, and there should be multi-channel communication. It's not only stick to one media, but it's happening in many channels at the time. And when we are talking about digital media, there are two concepts that I want you to learn. There is inbound media, or inbound marketing, and outbound marketing. Inbound meaning that the customers seek to us. We don't do any specific campaigns or marketing towards them, but they go to Google and write the keywords and find us. It's their initiative. While outbound marketing is more like the traditional media, where we give input, we give the information, which then results that the customers come to our sites or to our channels. So inbound and outbound, those are two basic concepts for this one. Then the question is, of course, what does digital media require? Time and consistency. Now when we are talking about planning digital marketing and digital media marketing, so time and consistency, it's not happening like that. You should put some time and effort to it. You should plan it. If you do the planning part well, then the implementation is easy, and also the risks are quite minimized. But if you just go ahead with the flow and be creative and try things, that's also a good thing. The next one is inspiration and trial. There should be this motivation that, okay, I want to do new things, I want to try things, but that shouldn't be all you do. Even the trial and the experiments, they should be somehow planned. And then there should be some sort of well, there isn't a right way of doing it, but there are some sort of flows that you should follow. There are some sort of regulations, and of course then there is the analytics. You should follow up what's happening. You should analyze if this been successful, and so on. And then we come to planning. There are 4 steps or more. We've been now doing customer analysis. You've been studying your customers, their behavior online, and that's a good thing, because now you should know what kind of channels they follow, what kind of contents they want to read or want to see. You also know how the contents affect then their buying behavior and so on. So customer analysis is, of course, the beginning of everything, but because we have already done it, so I'm not going to go into that anymore. Usually companies, and quite many students as well, start with channels. Yeah, I will want to do a Facebook campaign, or I want to do an Instagram campaign, but I myself, being some sort of authority here, well, no, this is my experience, that you should start with the content. Instead of channels, start with the content. Think what you want to say, and then based on that you go to the channels. Choose the right channels for your content and for your customers. And then there is the 4th step here, which means that you have some sort of timetable where you define when your ads are posted or your messages are posted, how often they are repeated, how much money you have, and how much human resources you have for this use, and also who's responsible for what. Let's talk about that a little bit later on. So we start with the content. Content marketing is also a concept that we are talking about. Your contents is selling. You are marketing with your contents. You are creating so interesting contents that everybody wants to read it, everybody wants to share it. And that's the point of the content marketing. So when you start planning your content, you start by thinking that, what do I want to say? What's the main message for your company? And then once you have decided that this is what I want, this is the core of everything, then you think, how am I going to say it? The core might be that come and buy our products, but if you say it like that to the customer, you are probably going to fail. You must package the message into a nice little decorated package, so that everyone are interested in what you are saying, and then they are buying from you accidentally. So instead of telling you should do something, you are hiding it with all sorts of tricks and pretty words. Of course, the question is also, when are you saying it? So timetable, timing is the issue as well. So it's not worth from Finnish perspective, there's no idea selling swimsuits during Christmas time, because no one's swimming in Finland, at least during Christmas time. Well, of course you can find the exceptions. Nowadays it seems that you cannot sell swimming suits during summertime either, but hopefully this summer will be better. So when are you saying it? And also, it's not only how you are saying and what you are saying and when you are saying. You've got to make your message a little bit different than the competitor's message. So how are you going to differ from the others? And then when you are packaging this message, so you should think that your keywords, the thing that comes with search engine optimization, they are nicely put into your text, so that it's logical text, it sounds good, but still you have your keywords somewhere in it. And when you are planning your content, so it's an old model, the AIDA model, attention, interest, desire, and action, and then of course satisfaction, is a good tool to use. And those of you who have watched TV shop commercials and laughed at them, well, maybe they are funny, but they are using the AIDA model. So there is always something that catches your eye. There is something that makes you interested in what they are saying, so getting your attention. And the next one is that, okay, interest. How am I going to get this? Desire, it's cheap, so come and buy. Or that's not all, you are going to get 3 products with price of 1, and so on. And then action. Call now in an hour. Then you get all this. Usually there isn't a satisfaction, but maybe you can think that, okay, if you are not satisfied, you can refund this product to us and get your money back, and so on. Then, of course, what does good content like? It's AIDA model. Especially what comes to the digital media, there are some points that have been studied. So good content should have some sort of humor or entertainment in it. There are competitions and that sort of stuff. So that's considered good contents. Stories, that's very basic thing. Especially in tourism, we are talking about storytelling and stories. And of course, people are interested in stories, and people are interested in authentic stories. Not only about made up stories, but something that has happened really. And it doesn't have to always be nice and shiny. There can be mistakes and that sort of behind the scenes things. Those are interesting for the people as well. Then of course we have emojis and memes, which are considered as a good contents. And it's about this intimacy thing, that by using something that isn't the formal language, you are bringing yourself closer to the customer. And it has to do with the listening to the customer as well. Create experiences with your contents. It can be that, of course, the story as such can be an experience, but it can be also something that fill in or add or tell your own experience, and then you can win something. And wake emotions, that's the last part. So that there are parts, especially in digital media, that are considered that this kind of contents you should have if you are creating one. Couple of words more. It's not only what's interesting to you and to your company, but the main question is that, is this interesting to your customer? Is she or he willing to share your contents to the others? Or is it just something that, she or he sees and forgets? So you should try to have this engaging, memorable contents that is shared and it gets to be a viral phenomenon or something like that. Also remember that you cannot please everyone. You can be a little bit radical sometimes. It's about the waking emotions. Those doesn't have to be positive emotions always. The worst thing is to be neutral, so that no one remembers you. So of course it's good to create positive ones, but sometimes some other feelings, some other emotions can be in their place. And of course you cannot please everyone, so don't try to create a content that suits everyone, because then it's going to be neutral and dull. For this, companies usually need a content producer. It's not just something that you do when you have time and after everything else. So there should be someone, and as I probably mentioned last time, creative work is something that takes time. It's not just that you go and write your posts and so on. You should have time for that one as well. So it needs time and it needs some money as well. fourth point about contents has to do with search engine optimization, as I mentioned already. So this notorious combination of letters SEO, if you look at the work or jobs nowadays, so there are quite many marketing jobs, especially there are quite many that say that okay, you've got to know the SEO and create sites that are optimized and so on. So what is search engine optimization? When you go to Google and write like school, Finland, tourism, you get results. First there are the results where you have something which is called ads, and of course that's a good thing. Let's do it. Just a second. We'll go here and do it. Google. So schools, not a school. Yes. School, Finland, tourism. And it takes a while. Okay, and now we can see we don't get any ads here. We get visit edufin. So we have some sort of thing. School visits, travel trade, University of Helsinki, Finland education tours. Yeah, of course it's tourism, so it isn't tourism schools that come first. There are totally different. There is University of Helsinki, University of Turku, and as we see, here is the UAS of Jyväskylä. So what can we tell about this? Haaga-Helia isn't very good, well optimized based on this one. Well then if I do like canoeing Finland, we'll get the ads also. Hopefully. No ads. Why? Interesting. Canoeing. For some reason I don't get any ads now. But usually you get here to the top, you get results where you can see that it says ad as first. So commercial ones. And yeah, those are the paid versions, which we are going to discuss a little bit later on. But as we saw, Haaga-Helia's pages probably don't use these three concepts, keywords like school, Finland and tourism, because it didn't come up among the first ones. And that's what search engine optimization is. By doing specific things, I'll come to those later on, so we try to end among the first results in search engines. And the same goes with the Bing and Yahoo and other ones, other search engines as well. So I'll start from the right hand side. There is pictures, links, meta text, visitors, and then in Finnish caveat. Okay, so visitors and caveat is the same thing. How we, or where should we add our keywords? First, of course, we've got to decide the keywords. Keywords that are need-based, not our company's name, because if someone writes your company's name to the Google or whatever search engine is, he or she already knows your company. But usually when we are buying something, we don't write company's name there. We are writing, like I did, canoeing Finland, or we are writing schools Finland tourism, or tourism schools in Finland, or whatever, instead of the company name. So if you end up first by writing your company's name there, it doesn't mean that your search engine optimization is well done. Because I think that it's quite evident that, or you should end up first if you write your company's name there. I would be really worried if you didn't. But usually when customers search something, it's need-based, and we've got to figure out what the need-based keywords that we are using, that profile us are, and then put them into pictures, links, meta text, and visitors. So picture, not only the one that is written underneath picture, the text there, but also we have something which is called alt text, that when you put your mouse above the picture, it gives you the name of the picture there, and that's something that people tend to forget. So, but it's also something that the algorithms that the search engines use are paying attention to when they are deciding which site comes first and which doesn't. Then there are links back and forth. So links from our site to other sites, and also other sites linking to our site. And that's also why I asked you to think about the links in Alexa as well, not only just looking at related sites and so on, but also checking the links there, because that's affecting. The more links you have back and forth, the better off you are search engine wise. So they again rate you higher if you have lots of links there. But of course they cannot be just made up, there should be some sort of relevancy there as well. The old websites used something which is called meta text. So there was a fill-in box where you should write your keywords for each page. Those aren't so important anymore, but it doesn't harm you to write if you are using such a site that asks those, so it doesn't harm to write meta texts into their place. The most important is the text, the contents that you write. Put your keywords inside the text there in a natural way, so that it sounds good, that it's not like putting keyword something, which isn't really logical. And of course the number of visitors, how much traffic you have on your page, that is something that affects the search engine optimization or the rating of search engines as well. And this is what we are calling search engine optimization. There is a tool for deciding the good keywords that have lots of searches, which the tool is called Keyword Planner. It's inside the AdWords tool, AdWords being the tool that gives you the ads that I tried to find out earlier in Google. So if you want to make a paid advertisement for Google, you go to Google AdWords and it's inside there. And after saying this means also that keyword planner, yeah, this is it. It also means that this isn't a free, well, this is a free tool, but this needs registration. For some reason I have again this in Finnish, even though I'm not using this one in Finnish. Just a second. Okay, now we are coming back. So here is Google AdWords, and here is something about the campaigns that I'm having, the AdWords campaigns. And usually when you are registering, they are asking your credit card information, and you cannot register without giving your credit card information. That doesn't mean that you have to pay something. You don't have to use this tool if you are afraid of credit card, but the reason is this AdWords thing, that if you are buying ads, you've got to pay something. Of course, if you aren't buying ads, you don't have to pay anything, even though the credit card information is inside Google AdWords. But that gives you the access to the Keyword Planner, which is, you find the wrench here, and then there's Planning and Keyword Planner. And again, we'll wait for a while And then we can, for instance, write here that what could be tourism is a good keyword, and get started. Nothing. Language Finnish, language English, please. Of course. Well, now we have. This is now in Finland. You can also have other targets here as well, but we'll stick now to Finland. Let's see how it works. Cancel. Got to move this one away. Cancel. Yeah, like this. So now we have tourism, and it also shows mobile trends, how much people have done searches with the term tourism in mobile and in normal way. And then here underneath you have a list of keywords that are related to tourism, and now I use this one, average monthly searches. So what has been searched most is hotels, 74,000. And competition with the word hotels is really low. We can see also. So it means that there aren't so many sites that are using keyword like hotels. So in a way it's a good thing that you could use this. Then if you think about what the money or the euros here mean, if you buy an ad and you are paying, well, if you buy an ad, so people who click with the keyword hotels, then it's going to cost you this €1.33. But you can also put some sort of daily or monthly roof that I'm not going to pay more than like 10 cents per day, and then people click whatever they click, what kind of keywords they are using. So it's not like that okay every time they click. And if you put this into the contents, your website contents, it doesn't matter because they aren't paid ads as such. It's just to see that what kind of keywords are good and what kind of keywords are bad. Of course, now we were looking for related keywords for tourism, and then we could get Vancouver or Malaysia. Probably if you are a company in Finland, they aren't relevant to you, so you've got to use your own brain as well when to sort these out. But then there's travel, vacation, the tourism, and so on. So you can find here ideas that if you stick with that, okay, I don't come up anything else but then tourism, so you can find here suggestions that what kind of keywords I should use. So Keyword Planner is the tool here. Now I move this back down here. Okay, then there are two other bullets here, or circles. To start with, there is the landing page. There is something which is called conversion, and then there is the design. Just to notify that sometimes we can have in our websites, we can have something which is a landing page, which is for specific keywords, specific search engine thing, and we hope people to end up there. It can be for marketing purposes, it can be a web shop, so you buy or you collect some information there or something. Sometimes it's the first page, the main page of your website, but sometimes it's some sort of specific page that you have created just for this purpose. Conversion is also a term, and if it's not familiar, so I'm going to explain it. When you put an ad or do something, you see how much of your efforts are turning into money. So that's what we mean with the conversion. It can be totally contents that you are providing. It can be a Facebook post or Instagram post, YouTube video, and then you see that okay, so many people are looking at my video, and of those, like 1,000 people looked at my video and only one bought my product. And that's conversion. It was 1,000 towards 1. And of course, the design effects, you have been now studying the bounce rate as well. If your design looks bad, so people tend to go back. So that's also one thing, that it's not directly search engine optimization as such, but it affects your popularity among search engines, having to do with the visitors there as well. So now we have been talking about SEO, and I have mentioned the other one, the SEM, search engine marketing, meaning that you are buying paid ads that then come first, but they are paid. So it's not the normal searches in search engine as such. Then there is CPC and PPC. If you are buying digital media, well, it's not digital media time. If you are buying digital media services or digital media marketing services from a company, you might end up them telling you that, okay, do you want us to charge with the PPC or CPC? So it has to do with clicks. CPC meaning cost per click, and PPC pay per click. It's also what Facebook ads, Google ads, and so on, what they are using. So you can choose that whenever a customer is clicking your ad, you are paying something, and that's how it works. So, and usually these are like 3 cents, 5 cents, 8 cents, depending on the keyword and also what kind of campaign you are using. Then there is CPI and CPM, which are also something. It's cost per impression, or CPM being also cost per impression, but cost per million expressions, not million, 1,000 expressions, sorry, my bad. So CPM, 1,000 expressions, and impression, that meaning that the ad is shown. So when you are doing a search, you probably get some ads there, it's shown to you, but you don't have to click, and still you are paying for that one. So if you now compare which one is better, the other one where customer clicks and the other one where customer sees it, so I would go for CPC or PPC always. You require some sort of action for paying. So that's the idea with those. So basics of search engine optimization here, and it's as such, it's as simple as it is. Of course, then you can complicate everything if you want to, but it's quite, the basics is really easy. So when we talk about channel choices, then whether we should go to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Snapchat or wherever, the basic question is that which channels do your customers follow? There's no idea having a campaign in Facebook if all your customers are in Snapchat. And that's why you've got to do the customer analysis to know where your customers are. Of course, the other one is that which channel suits best to your message. If you have a video, so YouTube is a very good alternative compared to Twitter, for instance. Of course, you can have videos in Twitter as well. Of course, you can then share your video in all channels via link, but as such, so think which channel suits best to your message. And also sometimes there are the values of your company, that which channels suit best for the values. Also, money can be an issue. Even though social media as such is quite cheap. The advertisements are quite cheap. You can do advertising with really little money. So it would be good to think also that creating that video takes time, and maybe you should take some other issues into concern. So which channel is affordable? Don't go with the one that is the pop at the moment, most popular at the moment, or which is the biggest one. Think where your customers are and which is the best one for you, for your purposes. Communication online. Interaction is a must everywhere. If we are talking about online communication, so interaction is the key. There should be some sort of conversation between the customer and the company. So you remember about the Solis Prism that was introduced during the lesson 1. Conversation everywhere. And also it has to do with what I mentioned earlier. Each channel has its specific features, its specific users. So think about those before rushing into some channel. Also take into consideration the mobile users and the mobile features. It's sad that sometimes, even today, you meet websites that aren't responsive. So they are only made for computers, PCs. Even in the worst cases, they are made for specific browsers. And nowadays you should have websites that are available in mobile, either telephone or tablet, or Apple's versions of those, PCs, laptops, and so on. And you can use them with any browser that you are using. So that's what your customers expect from you. So if you do a website that only works for PC, Firefox, so it's not really good thing. And then we were already talking about organic versus paid. So organic being this inbound marketing, people are looking for you themselves, paid being the advertisements online. Once you have decided the channel, so you can also think about the best time for posting. These are just examples. You find plenty of links online about these. But for instance, you can see here that they say that Facebook, okay, I can't write Thursday, so THY in this case means THU. Thursday and Friday at 1 p.m. you get most shares, and at 3 p.m. most clicks. So and there are plenty of studies like that. This not for Finland, unfortunately. Most of them are USA based, or then there are a couple of UK based, and so on. And then I wrote here on the right that the best source, of course, is the own channel statistics or analytics tool. So there you can see exactly what kind of messages are the most popular, which times to post are getting most attention, and so on. But if you don't have that kind of information, you can try these, because of course someone has studied them, so there must be some truth behind everything. But also think about that it's not that I just post anytime. There might be better times and worse times for posts, and even different channels can differ in that. Okay, I thought that I changed the työkaluja tools. So remember at and hashtags. At getting attention. If you are, for instance, posting for some company, I would visit a cafe, and then I would like the cake there, so I would take a picture and post it to Instagram, and then I put at this cafe, and then use some hashtags that the best cake ever, and so on. So there are two reasons for that. By doing so regramming or retweeting it, I'm showing to the original place, to the cafe for instance, that okay, I've been here and I'm really interested and this is the picture. So I'm getting my pictures popular by doing that already. And also there is always the chance that they are then sharing my picture, so they are again regramming it. With hashtag I can separate my message from other messages, and also it's the search engine of Twitter, and well, especially Twitter and Instagram, those are the hashtags. So use those. It goes for companies as well, that if I'm a company and I've been visiting, for instance, a conference, and then I write that okay, I was here and it was really lovely, I learned a lot at conference name, so they might use mine and then thanks a lot for company X and so on. So you get this positive buzz to your social media sites by using this regramming, retweeting, refacing, whatever it's called, but the ad size as well as hashtags. Then you separate from others and make yourself visible in the social media channels. There is also studies how many hashtags you should have. So this is also that you shouldn't post the same message to all channels, but separate them from each other. So for instance, now in Instagram you should have 9 to 12 hashtags with length of 21 or 24 characters, while in Twitter you should have 1 to 2 hashtags and with 3 characters or 18 to 19 characters. Of course, the less number of hashtags can be explained with the we have this restriction of characters in Twitter as well, so that's also one of the reasons. If you then want to find or research, for instance, hashtags, we have 2 tools here. We have Keyhole and we have Tagboard. Tagboard I probably showed you last time. Keyhole is the same as Hashtagify. So you can go here and write, for instance, Hagahelia, which I have been using already. Hagahelia, and then search. And then we'll wait for a while. And now we'll get some sort of ideas, or should get. Okay. Keyhole. So there with the hashtag Hagahelia, we have 28 posts. We have reached 22,512 people. There are 21 people using hashtag Hagahelia, and it has been showed to 46,267 persons, and the time has been a year. But for some reason it has started in April, this thing, so it might be for the free. Then we can also see that who have been the ones posting things. There are different. For the free version you can see only here that there is Hagahelia, Lena Grönros, my colleague, and then also Hagahelia as such. Also we can see related hashtags here. What kind of related? Also ideas of the the other hashtags that we could use in the future. And then again, who have been most influential in general of posting this Hagahelia hashtag over the time, and so on. So you find quite interesting information. You can also find the channels and so on here. So this is one for analyzing hashtags as such. So let's put this one here and go back here. Not so much more left. We have already discussed about paid communication, so ads online. couple of words. I'm not going to show them. It has to do. We can have in Facebook. We can post Facebook ads. You probably all have seen those. Instagram nowadays as well. I don't know if there are probably, yeah, there are Twitter ads. Sorry, forgot those. I've been using those myself as well, but forgot that I've been using them. In YouTube we had ads, so almost in every channel we have them. So we have already talked about this search engine marketing. What comes to then, especially on the channels, so use picture. It's a good thing to use picture in those ads, because you get visible, and it's a way of profile yourself and differ yourself. Target. You have the possibility for specify target groups, so use that. Don't just mass post your ads everywhere. Of course, this is also the way to reach potential customers as well. It's quite cheap as such, and it provides you a way for trial and error. So you can make a campaign with 20 euros, and then you can make another campaign with 20 euros and see which one works better, and then you can maybe invest a little bit more for the other one because it worked better. Or you can then stick to these small campaigns and see how they work. So as such, but always remember that there is someone who has to do the work. So even though the campaign itself costs a little, so the work might cost a little bit more. And of course then you can get conversion, you can get likes, you can get followers, but especially you can create money, or convert your efforts to money, and then you can also quantify it. You can calculate the return of investment there as well. It is always recommended that you do the annual timetable. So we are talking about the year clock, which isn't really good English. So annual timetable, so that you define that what happens in January, what happens in February, what happens in March, and so on. You can even define what happens every week. That's a way of doing that as well. When you are doing this, don't think that social media or digital media is some sort of vacuum, that it works for itself. Integrate it with all the communication that you have in your company. So they should support each other. The traditional marketing communication, the PR, and also digital media. And as I mentioned, the annual timetable tells what happens each month or each week. It might be thematic, that this week or this month the topic is springtime. In May we have celebrating things, and in June we might have flowers, depending on your company, whatever it is. And then you create interesting contents, and also contents that is a little bit, it's changing, that it's not the same thing all over again, because everyone gets fed up with that one. So that it's changing, it's versatile, and so on. You can also define target groups for some specific messages, but specific timetable each channel and maybe each target group. And then it's easy to do when you have planned it, that this is what we do each month or each week. And also this annual timetable should define the responsibilities. So who is doing and what is she or he doing and when, so that we know who to blame. This is very unadult way of saying that, but we can point the finger and say that it was your responsibility. Why didn't it work? Why isn't anything happening? And so on. Also remember that once you are in digital media, you've got to tell your customers that you are there. And the challenge quite often is that how to market that you are there, your online channels. I have met quite many companies that they have created Facebook, and then I created Facebook, but no one's coming there. Well, have you told anyone that you are there? No, no. So it's quite hard. So marketing of online channels, how to make your customers aware that you are online. So that's also a part, especially if you are starting a new channel there, or a new target group also. Measurements. These are the ones that I have mentioned many times earlier, so I'm going through them very fast. First, of course, we can measure the amount like likes, visitors and clicks, but it only tells the mass. It doesn't give you the in-depth idea that how is it going. Then we can also study the interest. So how much are people sharing our messages, how long are they staying on our pages, and so on. Exploring messages and pages as such gives you the idea of contents, if it's interesting or not. And of course it needs further analysis for that one as well. Then there is of course the search engine optimization and marketing. So how customers are coming to your site. So is the search engine optimization worked fine? If they come from Google and so on, so probably it has worked fine. Or maybe if you have had a campaign in Facebook and then you can see in your analytics that most of the customers come from the Facebook, so you can probably say that okay, this campaign has been a success. Customer profile tells about segmentation. Return of investment we already discussed just earlier. And then of course returning and unique customers is something that your customers, if there's returning customers, there is something on your site or on your channel that is really interesting and they want to follow you. But also unique customers, you are getting new customers all the time, and that's it has to do with interest and marketing success as such. Last slide before thank you. When you have lots of channels, and usually a company has lots of channels, and I have already mentioned that it takes time to update everything and keep up with everything, so you've got to have some sort of administration for your sites. And there are a couple of tools that are really useful for that. Of course we have the Excel, but then there is tools like Hootsuite, Crowdbooster, Buffer and Social Oomph, of which I'm going to show you the Hootsuite because it's the one that I'm usually using. Yes. Couple of seconds more. So for instance, here you see that there is my company's Facebook page, there is my Twitter account, here's my personal Facebook account, there is my LinkedIn account, there is my Instagram account, and then there's my YouTube account. So I can put everything into one place. I can also create messages here, that test message. I can add links, or I can add attachments to them. I can decide that which channel I want to post it. Is it the Dicky Preacher, or is it LinkedIn, or wherever I want to post it. So if I put this one for instance, and then you can schedule it, so you don't have to post it right away. You can make a long list of things and then add lots of information as well, and then send it, even though it's scheduled. So it's done. You can do everything here. You can do it for several channels as well. Then you can also see the analytics here. So everything is in one place, and it makes it easy for the company to to follow different things and see how they are developing. So this is something I really recommend, especially if you have lots of lots of social media sites and channels to update. Of course, it doesn't do search engine optimization for you, so your website as such is something that you've got to take care of separately, even though you can add WordPress there, a traditional blog, so that's possible. So it's worth checking if it would work for search engine optimization also. So this is what I had to say today. So now you should have lots of information about your customers. Now you should have also had an idea about your company and how it's doing online, and about the risks that are available that are there for him or her, for the company. And now you should have some sort of idea about the channels and search engine optimization provided, or how it should be done in practice. So we are closing to the end. Now you should have quite a good grasp on what to do with that company and also how to do it. Of course, I cannot create the contents for you, or I cannot create the keywords for you. Those are the ones that you've got to decide yourself. But now you should have the idea that how to do it and where I can find help in order to do it in practice. So that's all for me today. Thank you very much.